Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. It's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Before we get started, please subscribe, ring the bell, like, and comment below on your thoughts about this story. Visit my About section if you'd like to learn how to connect with me, and always let me know how I'm doing. Today, we're going to be talking about one of my guilty pleasures, a TV show called Teen Mom 2, and a former cast member, Jenelle Evans, who was fired last week after a violent incident took place on her property where her husband, David Easton, killed their family pet. In an update on Instagram, Jenelle actually announced to people that her dog Nugget, a French bulldog that she had had at least for a year, had passed away. Immediately, rumors began to circulate and all kinds of drama unfolded all over the internet. I originally found out about all of this through the Ashley reality. The Ashley, which is one of my favorite websites. If you haven't ever checked it out, you make sure you check out the Ashley. But they said that it was a pretty violent encounter, that David, the dog, ended up nipping at their daughter, Ensley, who's there in the middle, a little girl, that's their daughter together. And then he nipped at the cheek of Ensley and her lip. And this wasn't the first time this dog had nipped at her. And apparently, David became extremely violent after that happened. And instead of removing the dog and, maybe putting the dog outside, he got extremely violent with the dog, took it out into the backyard, and took his gun and shot and killed the dog. They have multiple children living at this house. There is Ensley and Kaiser. Kaiser's the blonde little boy there. That is her son with Nathan Griffith. And David has a long, long history of being very outspoken about his gun ownership. He has a very violent background. He is extremely hostile when law enforcement come to his home. There's been multiple reports on the Ashley and on TMZ that anytime law enforcement has had to get involved at this home, the altercations with David haven't always gone the best. He's very unpredictable. He does have a criminal history. And in December of 2018, he did post this photo on Instagram, which had a picture of him laying with his shotgun. And it said, "Thanks for the visit from the Secret Service friends. I told you how much I like you, except the fact that you want to ban bump stocks and take guns away from people just because someone red flagged them. Then I told them to get the F off of my house and don't ever come past the trespassing signs again. Like holy S, I thought you people were all about border security. Well, there is a border around my land and it is protected from intruders by lethal force also, just like your house. Don't expect my gate to ever be open again. I hope and pray that nobody ever tries to trespass on my property they will be met with fire and fury." So naturally, with public posts like this, law enforcement have always been extremely hesitant and reluctant to get involved with David and on their property. But following the death of Nugget, with children involved in the house, multiple calls were made to CPS along to local law enforcement to take a look at this. Primarily, the uproar online wasn't so much about Eason or Evans, Jenelle, but rather the safety of the children. Jenelle did leave the home for a few days, but despite the very violent offense against the dog, she remained with her man. So everything has been in limbo for a couple days. She seemed to be kind of quiet, but in response, MTV swiftly fired her. They had been having problems with her for a long time with not showing up for videos, with David interfering. David had been banned from being on Teen Mom 2 after a series of homophobic tweets and messages on Instagram. And so she was only ever filming by herself, but David made it extremely difficult for her to film. And in this final season, they had such little footage of her. She actually was not even seen in a couple of the episodes. With film and producers being extremely uncomfortable and unwilling to continue down this line with a very unstable and violent David, the decision was made to cut ties with her after he violently shot and killed the dog. So not only did her world fall apart from her financial standpoint, because that is the only job that she has ever had, or that's her only primary source of income. Then on May 10th, the word was released on multiple outlets and later confirmed by Jenelle that her son Kaiser, that she has with Nathan Griffith, the little blonde boy, so there's Kaiser. Kaiser's right there with his little sister Ensley. So um, she verified, so she clarified with Us Weekly on yesterday that Kaiser had been taken away from her on Friday without her consent. And this was her statement to Us Weekly. Before Mother's Day, I had been in touch with my lawyer pertaining to this matter. Kaiser was taken from his daycare by his grandmother, Nathan Griffith's mother, Doris, with no notice or call to me. CPS told Doris to take Kaiser without my consent and still have not provided legal paperwork signed by a judge stating that the kids are taken from me. She also told People the same on Monday that her sons, both Jace and Kaiser, were not currently living with her after Eason had shot and killed their dog. And she said to them, during this difficult time, I'm focused on getting Kaiser back and cooperating with my legal team on the next steps to getting my children back. David, for his part, has been pretty outspoken about why he did what he did to the dogs. He seems unapologetic for killing the dog. It is a crime to abuse or kill any animal that's of your that's like a family pet. So he could still face criminal prosecution. But he wrote, I don't give a damn what animal bites my baby on the face, whether it be your dog or mine. A dog is a dog, and I don't put up with S at all. I'm all about protecting my family. It's my life mission. Some people are worth killing or dying for, and my family means that much to me. You can hate me all you want, but this isn't the first time that dog bit Ensley aggressively. The only person that can judge whether or not an animal is in danger to my child is me. All right, David, that's fine, but there's other alternatives. You can train your dog, or you can give your dog away. You can bring the dog to a vet. You can ask you could ask a vet to put them down. You could bring it to a trainer. There's so many other options other than violently shooting and killing a dog in the woods. So she also, following all of that drama with David, she continued to speak with Us Weekly, and she said Kaiser was taken away Friday without my consent before Mother's Day, and I have been in touch with my lawyer. She said that after he was taken, she's been in touch with Nathan, Kaiser's dad, and he and her will appear later in court this month. She said that the current custody order is still in place. Nathan is to have supervised visits and only supervised by Doris. Surprisingly, me and Nathan are getting along, so I'm willing to maybe let his visits be unsupervised. Me and Nathan have been in contact during all of this. He doesn't want Kaiser taken from me. And then in terms of her relationship with David, there's been a lot of push by people, friends, family, for her to leave him. There's been rumors swirling for years that she has been stuck in a very unhealthy and violent relationship, violent marriage. If you remember last year, she was a violent 911 call was made from their property where she said that he had pushed her down and her shoulder hurt very badly. Only a few days later, they released the 911 call. She sounded frantic and really upset. But then a few days later, she did a live stream on social media saying that it was all an accident. It didn't really happen that way. Since then, people have been really begging for her to leave this relationship. Her mom, Barbara, has been very outspoken that David is a domestic abuser or he's violent against her, and she has continued to stay by her man. So she said to Us Weekly that her relationship with David now is still healing process. Of course, we were going to start going to marriage counseling because he feels if we need it, he feels as if we both need it. I completely agree. Not considering divorce unless he refuses counseling with me. Then she went on to say that they still have Marissa, who is Eason's daughter from a previous relationship. And he says David has full custody over her and still homeschools her. Marissa has been with us since everything has been going down. She's frustrated with the media she sees online about her father because she knows the truth, what goes on in our household. And then she said, at this time, I want to focus on what's best for myself and my family. My lawyer has been advising me on what to do and what has gone wrong in this whole situation. Well, Jenelle, I'm pretty sure what went wrong is that your husband shot and killed a dog. He has been violent. He has posted violent extremely violent threats on social media. He is a avid gun owner and is very adamant that if anyone intervenes in his property, he will shoot to kill if he needs to. So there's a lot of cause for concern for people. She also went on to say that any rumors that come out, she would like to have everyone just step back and say, is this from Jenelle? No, it's not. I'm open with the public about my life and will continue to be. Right now, I need this time to just hang out with my family. I need them so badly. Now, if this wasn't enough, that would be it. But see, Jenelle doesn't have the best history of telling the truth, especially in this relationship. And I do understand that in domestic violent situations, it can be extremely difficult to be honest about what's going on in the relationship because you are afraid for your life. You are with an unstable man. So I don't think anyone at this point would trust anything that comes out of her mouth because she is bound by a relationship and probably in fear of what's going on with him, with a very volatile and unpredictable partner. But after Kaiser's remover, there was a lot of rumbling starting that her daughter Ensley, or their shared daughter that they had together, Ensley, might be removed as well, along with Marissa. And yesterday, both TMZ and the Ashley dropped that a judge in Columbus County agreed to a Child Protective Services that CPS requested a judge sign off on the immediate removal of Ensley and Marissa. So Ensley is their 2-year-old daughter. So they said, CPS is trying to locate Jenelle and David and Ensley. We are told the authorities are fearful of entering their property because they believe David is extremely dangerous. There's a social media account claiming to be Jenelle's sister that just said CPS was made its move and taken Ensley, but we haven't confirmed that. However, we know the plan is imminent. So here's the thing. The Ashley later on that day did confirm that they were not on the run, that the family did return to the land, but they weren't necessarily sure whether or not the kids were with them or not. What we can hope for is that CPS is able to get these kids removed because David is extremely dangerous. And based on the fact that he posted that Instagram photo where he said he will fight with fury and he will go guns blazing to protect his family, law enforcement have every right to be concerned about trying to make contact with him on his property. So this is an extremely dangerous situation. These children should absolutely not be in this situation. They need to be removed. If they haven't yet been removed, I hope that authorities get these kids out of this situation. Which next begs the question that if you or someone you know is involved in a domestic violent situation or a domestic abusive relationship, please consider reaching out to the National Domestic Abuse Hotline. They're advocates that are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to talk you through resources and what's going on in your relationship and get you the help you need. You can call them at 1-800-799-SAFE, or that's 1-800-799-7233. I'm not sponsored by them. This is just my suggestion to you that if you are going through something like this, please reach out for help. No child or woman should need to live in fear with a man that's violent. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As always, I will keep you up to date on the latest developments that come with this case. I have been popping out all over the online, and I'm hoping to hear sooner than later. Jenelle has been extremely quiet today on both Twitter and on Instagram, which is unusual, and I have not seen any statements yet from David. I will keep you posted, and until then, I hope you have a great day. Bye.